Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into a book that a lot of you have been asking us to explore. It's called Brave New World: How AI Will Revolutionize Education and Why That's a Good Thing, by Salman Khan.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Yeah, it seems to be making the rounds. And I'm really excited about this one. It's not just your typical tech explainer like how AI works or whatever. It's more of a personal journey by Khan as he dives headfirst into this world of AI and explores how it can completely change the way we learn, like everything about education as we know it.
Yeah, that makes sense considering Khan is the founder of Khan Academy.
Exactly.
That platform known for its crazy accessible educational resources. He's got a really unique perspective on all this AI stuff. I mean, he's not just speculating from the sidelines, he's actively involved in shaping this whole future of education.
That's what I'm so interested in, like hearing from someone who's actually in the trenches, so to speak. And he actually kicks off the book with this really captivating anecdote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about using ChatGPT-4 to co-write a story with his daughter.
What? Like they had the AI as a character?
Yeah, they had the AI contributing to
Yeah.
the plot, to the dialogue.
Wow, that's wild.
It's so cool. And it just immediately shows you how AI can be this incredibly powerful, creative tool.
Yeah.
Even for something as personal as storytelling.
So kind of like a brainstorming partner.
Kind of, but way more than that. It's like a partner that can actually, come up with its own ideas and stuff.
Right. That makes sense.
And that experience was a total turning point for Khan. He saw firsthand how engaging and accessible AI could be,
Especially for a young child.
especially for a young child. Yeah. And it really sparked a much deeper exploration for him of AI's potential, in all sorts of areas, but especially education. And this led him to develop Khanmigo, Khan Academy's own AI-powered learning tool.
Okay, so let's talk about Khanmigo.
Yeah, let's dive in.
You mentioned that it's built on GPT-4, right?
Uh-huh. Which is one of the most advanced AI models out there, period.
For sure. But what makes Khanmigo different from all the other AI tools that are popping up everywhere?
That's a great question, and Khan really gets into that in the book. Khanmigo is specifically designed to function as an AI tutor. So instead of just spitting out answers, like a lot of these AI tools do.
Yeah, like a cheat sheet.
Right. It actually uses a technique called, get this, Socratic dialogue to guide students through challenging problems.
Okay, Socratic dialogue. For those of us who slept through philosophy class?
Yeah. It's basically like asking leading questions, right, to help the student arrive at the answer themselves.
Oh, so it's like a guided discovery
Exactly.
instead of just giving them the solution.
Yeah, and it provides personalized feedback like a real tutor would. And it even adapts to the student's individual learning needs.
Whoa, so it's learning about the student as the student is learning?
Yeah. Exactly. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. So it's like having, a personal tutor who's available 24/7, ready to walk you through any problem step by step at your own pace.
Totally. And Khan, he actually describes his own experiences using Khanmigo with students in the book.
And how'd that go?
He's over the moon excited about its potential to completely transform the whole learning experience from the ground up.
I bet. That personalized approach can be so powerful. Did he talk about any specific benefits he saw in the students?
Yeah, he really emphasizes how Khanmigo can help students develop a much deeper understanding of the material.
Yeah.
Because it's encouraging them to actually think critically and solve problems on their own.
Right. So it's not just about getting the right answer. It's about understanding the why behind it.
Exactly. And that's something that's often missing in traditional education.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it seems like Khan is really emphasizing that this isn't about replacing teachers. It's about giving them a powerful tool to what we were talking about earlier, personalized learning, and actually support individual students' needs in a way that they couldn't before.
Totally. And he doesn't shy away from the big, philosophical questions surrounding AI either. The really juicy stuff.
Oh, like what?
Well, he tackles the whole debate over whether AI can truly be creative.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right. He even references Noam Chomsky's skepticism about that. Chomsky, the famous linguist.
Yeah, I know Chomsky. He's pretty adamant that AI can't truly replicate human creativity.
Yeah, exactly. But Kahn, he actually believes that AI can mirror the creative process in humans.
Interesting.
Yeah, he even points to examples like AI-generated art and music.
So is he saying that AI can be original?
Well, he argues that the creative process, whether in humans or AI, involves drawing on existing information and patterns to generate something new. So it's not necessarily about originality in the traditional sense.
I see. So it's more about the process of creation itself.
Right. And he sees the potential for AI to become this powerful tool for genuine creative expression, not just a mimic of human creativity.
Okay, I'm starting to see where he's coming from, but that raises a really interesting question, doesn't it?
Totally.
What does it even mean for something to be creative if AI can do things that we traditionally consider creative, like writing stories, composing music, you know?
It really challenges us to think about that very definition of creativity and whether it's something that's exclusive to humans or if it can exist in other forms of intelligence.
Right, and that leads us to another major area that Kahn explores in the book, assessment.
Uh-huh.
He's got this whole vision of AI-powered assessments that completely go beyond traditional standardized tests.
You mean like the SATs and all that?
Exactly. Imagine assessments that are actually engaging for students, personalized and integrated into the actual learning process itself.
Okay, so not like some separate stressful exam that you have to cram for.
Right. It would be more like a natural extension of learning.
Wow, that would be a major shift from the multiple choice tests we're all traumatized by.
Yeah, for sure. So what would these AI-powered assessments actually look like in practice?
Well, Kahn describes these assessments that could actually evaluate much more complex skills, like critical thinking and problem solving.
Okay, so more about how you think, not just what you remember.
Exactly. And they could provide real-time feedback as you're going through the assessment, and they'd adapt to the individual student's needs, just like Khanmigo does with tutoring.
So it's constantly adjusting to how the student is performing.
Yeah, and he believes that this kind of approach could actually lead to much more meaningful evaluations.
Ones that actually focus on deep understanding, rather than just rote memorization.
Right, and that's something that a lot of educators have been pushing for years. So it seems like Kahn is really passionate about using AI to address some of the biggest challenges in education.
Yeah, like personalized learning and truly effective assessment.
Totally. But he also tackles the concerns that I think a lot of people have about AI.
Like what?
Well, especially that fear, that it's going to replace teachers altogether.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. The robots are coming for our jobs.
Yeah, but Kahn, he firmly believed that AI will actually enhance the role of teachers, not replace them.
So more like a partnership.
Yeah, he sees AI as a tool that can free up teachers from a lot of the administrative tasks that they get bogged down with.
Like grading papers and stuff.
Exactly. And that would give them more time to focus on things like mentoring students, providing personalized instruction, building relationships.
Right, the stuff that humans are really good at.
Exactly. So it's kind of like AI handling the busy work so that teachers can focus on what they do best. Inspire, guide, connect with their students.
I like that. AI doing the heavy lifting so teachers can be more human.
Exactly. It's a beautiful vision, right?
It is. And Khan sees this future where teachers and AI are working together to create a much more personalized and effective learning experience for every student.
It really is. And you know what? Kahn's vision actually extends beyond the classroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he also explores how AI can totally transform parenting.
Oh, wow. That's a whole other can of worms.
It is, but in a good way.
Yeah.
He specifically focuses on how tools like Khanmigo can support parents in their children's education.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Like how?
Well, he describes how AI could provide parents with real insights into their child's learning progress, suggest personalized learning resources based on that, even help with tutoring and motivation. It's wild.
So it's kind of like a virtual assistant for parenting, right?
Exactly. Providing support and guidance every step of the way. And he believes that this can really empower parents to play a much more active role in their child's education. A lot of parents feel kind of lost or intimidated by the education system.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with everything changing so fast these days. New technologies, new approaches to learning. It's hard to keep up.
Totally. But Kahn is also really mindful of the potential for over-reliance on technology. He's not saying just hand your kid an iPad and let AI do the parenting.
Right, right.
He emphasizes the importance of maintaining a balanced approach to AI in parenting.
I mean, technology should complement the human element, not replace it entirely.
Absolutely. He believes that technology should complement, not replace, that essential role of human connection and interaction, both in learning and in parenting.
I think that's a really important point, especially in this day and age. We need to be mindful of that balance.
Totally. Now, another really critical topic that Kahn addresses in the book is the issue of bias and misinformation in AI. This is something that a lot of people are worried about,
Yeah, it's a huge concern.
especially with something like education, where we want to make sure that all students have access to fair and accurate information.
Exactly. And the thing is, AI systems can actually perpetuate existing biases if they're trained on biased data.
That's the tricky part, right? The AI is only as good as the data it's fed.
Exactly. So how does Kahn address this?
Well, he really emphasizes the importance of developing AI tools with ethical considerations in mind, from the very beginning.
So baking those ethical principles into the design itself.
Right. Ensuring that they're designed to minimize bias and actually promote fairness.
Mm.
He also believes that we need to equip students with the critical thinking skills to navigate a world that's increasingly saturated with information, both accurate and inaccurate.
That's so important. Being able to discern between reliable information and, fake news or biased content.
Absolutely. It's not just about building better AI, but also about building better users of AI, people who can critically evaluate information and make informed decisions.
So giving them the tools to be discerning consumers of information, whether it comes from a human or an AI.
Exactly. In Kahn, he actually uses this phrase, educated bravery, to describe the kind of approach we need to have when it comes to AI.
Educated bravery. What does he mean by that?
It's about recognizing both the incredible potential of AI and also the limitations. And it's about using our knowledge and our values to guide the development and deployment of AI in a way that actually benefits everyone.
It's like approaching AI with a sense of informed optimism.
Exactly. Not being afraid of it, but also not being naive about the potential risks.
I like that. Educated bravery. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I thought so too. Now, one of the, I think, more futuristic concepts that Khan explores is this idea of AI acting as a guardian angel for children online. This one's kind of wild.
Guardian angel. What does he mean by that?
Well, he imagines AI tools that can filter out inappropriate content, promote healthy tech habits, even detect signs of cyberbullying or online predators. Because the internet can be a pretty scary place for kids.
Oh, absolutely. Especially these days. So he's talking about using AI to create a safer and more supportive online environment for children.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
But of course, it also raises questions about privacy and control. Like how do we ensure that these AI guardian angels are actually used responsibly and don't infringe on children's privacy?
Right. It's a delicate balance. We want to protect them, but we also don't want to create this big brother situation where they're constantly being monitored.
Exactly. And Khan, he acknowledges these concerns. He's not oblivious to them. He emphasizes the need for transparency and parental control over these AI systems.
So parents having the ultimate say in how these tools are used to protect their kids.
Yeah, he believes that parents should have the ability to set limits and oversee how these tools are used. And he also stresses the importance of open dialogue and education around online safety and responsible technology use.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the conversations we have about it.
Totally. It's about empowering parents and children to make informed decisions about technology and to use it in a way that actually promotes well-being and safety.
That's a really important message.
It is, and it kind of gets to the heart of what Khan is trying to say in this book. AI is this incredibly powerful tool, but it's ultimately up to us to decide how we use it.
Right. We have the power to shape its development and ensure that it's used for good.
Exactly. We have a responsibility to do that. And that's a really exciting, but also a little daunting prospect.
It is. It's like we're at this crossroads, and the choices we make now are going to have a huge impact on the future.
Totally. And that's what makes this conversation about AI so important. We need to be having these discussions now so that we can make sure we're heading in the right direction. Just briefly, we want to say thank you for listening to Rambling Dan Rowe's Deep Dive Book Reviews. Please remember to like and subscribe to support our channel. Thank you.
Picking up where we left off, one of the things that really blew my mind in this book was Kahn's idea of using AI to simulate conversations with historical figures.
Oh, yeah, he mentions that pretty early on, and it totally hooked me too. Could you imagine your kid being able to have a virtual chat with, Harriet Tubman or Albert Einstein?
It's crazy, right? Like a real back and forth asking them questions,
I know.
getting their perspective on stuff.
Kahn believes that these, AI-powered simulations could bring history to life in a way that, textbooks and lectures never could.
Oh, totally. It's way more engaging than just reading about them in a dusty old book.
Right. It allows students to, actually engage directly with these figures from the past ask them questions, maybe even debate their perspectives on
It's
things.
pretty powerful. It's like stepping into a virtual time machine and having a conversation with someone who actually shaped our world.
Exactly.
Hmm.
I mean, wouldn't it be amazing to hear firsthand from, like, Martin Luther King Jr. about the civil rights movement, or talk to Marie Curie about her groundbreaking scientific discoveries?
Absolutely. But it also raises some, tricky questions, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, how do we ensure that these AI representations of historical figures are actually accurate?
Right. We don't want them perpetuating stereotypes or biases or just making stuff up.
Exactly. So how do we make sure that these AI simulations are both engaging and, like, historically responsible?
Well, Kahn actually addresses those concerns head on in the book. He emphasizes how important it is to develop these simulations responsibly, like using super rigorous historical research, drawing on multiple sources to ensure accuracy, and making sure that different perspectives are represented.
So it's not just about recreating these figures in a way that's, like, entertaining or flashy.
No, it's about using them as a tool to actually enhance learning and critical thinking.
Right. So students are not just passively absorbing information, they're actually engaging with it, questioning it, analyzing different viewpoints.
Exactly. He believes that these simulations can actually help students develop those critical thinking skills by encouraging them to analyze those different perspectives and really grapple with complex historical events. It's not about simplifying history, it's about making it more nuanced and engaging.
I love that. It's like taking history class to a whole other level.
Totally. And Khan sees this as just one example of how AI can break down those traditional barriers in education, making learning more personalized, more engaging, and ultimately more accessible to everyone. It's about leveling the playing field, so to speak.
That's a really powerful idea. And it's not just limited to history, right? I mean, he talks about how AI could revolutionize all sorts of things in education, like even the college admissions process, which, as we all know, can be, like, incredibly stressful and honestly pretty flawed.
Oh, tell me about it. The whole system is based on these standardized tests and GPAs, which don't really capture the whole picture of a student. There's so much more to a person than just their grades.
Exactly. And that's where Khan sees AI stepping in.
Hmm.
He talks about how AI could be used to evaluate applicants more holistically, you know,
Like looking beyond just the numbers.
totally. Taking into account things like extracurricular activities, essays, letters of recommendation, even their personal background and experiences.
That would be amazing. If AI could help us see beyond those narrow metrics and get a more well-rounded picture of each applicant's potential, their passions, their drive, their unique talents.
It would be a game changer for sure. But of course, there's also the risk, right? Like, what if the AI is biased?
Oh, yeah, that's a huge concern. What if it ends up perpetuating existing inequalities rather than addressing them?
That's a really important point. And Khan, he doesn't shy away from that at all. He actually acknowledges that risk directly. He's very clear that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it could be used for good or for bad.
Right. It depends on who's wielding it and what their intentions are.
Exactly. So he emphasizes how crucial it is to use AI in a way that promotes access and opportunity for all students, regardless of their background, their socioeconomic status, their race, their ethnicity.
So it's about using AI to level the playing field, not tilt it even further in one direction or another.
Exactly. And he cautions against, like, relying solely on AI-driven systems for something as important as college admissions. He stresses the need for human oversight, for checks and balances, to ensure that the system is actually fair and equitable.
So it's about using AI as a tool to augment human decision-making, not to replace it entirely.
Right. It's about finding that balance between leveraging the power of AI and preserving those values of human judgment, empathy, and fairness. We can't just hand over these important decisions to algorithms without any human involvement.
I think that's a really important point. We need to remember that AI is a tool, and it's up to us to use it wisely and ethically.
Totally. And that connects to a broader theme that runs throughout the book, this idea of using AI responsibly and ethically. Kahn recognizes that AI is this incredibly powerful tool that can be used for amazing things, but it also has the potential to be misused or to have unintended negative consequences.
Right, like any powerful technology, it needs to be handled with care and forethought.
Exactly. And he stresses the need for thoughtful guidance and oversight, for ethical guidelines and regulations, to ensure that AI is actually used to benefit humanity as a whole, not just a select few. It's about being proactive, not reactive, thinking about the potential consequences before we just unleash this technology on the world.
Right. And he really emphasizes that this is a responsibility we all share. It's not just on the tech companies or the government, it's on all of us to be engaged in this conversation and to advocate for the responsible development and use of AI.
I love that. It's like a call to action for everyone to get involved and make sure that AI is used for good. Now let's talk about another area where Kahn sees enormous potential for AI, and that's personalized learning. He has this whole vision of a future where every student has access to, like, a personalized AI tutor that can guide them through challenging concepts, tailor instruction to their individual learning style, and provide customized feedback in real time.
It's like having an army of AI tutors, each one designed to help students unlock their full potential. But how realistic is that, really? Can AI truly provide that kind of personalized attention that students need? I mean, it's one thing to have an AI tutor that can walk you through a math problem, but what about those deeper learning challenges, like struggling with motivation or dealing with test anxiety?
Those are really good points. And Kahn, he acknowledges those challenges too. He knows that there's a lot of work to be done in developing truly effective AI tutors, especially when it comes to understanding those complex human emotions and providing that kind of nuanced support that human tutors can offer, that human touch that can make such a difference.
Right, like sensing when a student is getting frustrated or discouraged and knowing how to motivate them or provide that extra encouragement.
Exactly. But even though he acknowledges those challenges, he's still really optimistic about AI's potential in this area. He believes that we can make significant strides in developing AI tutors that can provide a level of personalized attention that was never possible before.
It's like pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in education.
Totally. And as we mentioned before, he doesn't see AI as replacing teachers in this scenario. So it's not about getting rid of human interaction in education. He's very clear about that. He actually emphasizes the importance of human connection and interaction, even in an AI-powered future. He believes that AI should complement, not replace, the role of teachers, freeing them up from those more routine tasks so they can focus on what they do best. Building relationships with students, providing guidance and mentorship, and creating a supportive and inspiring learning environment.
So it's more like a collaboration, right? AI handling the heavy lifting so teachers can be more human.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the strengths of both AI and human teachers and finding ways to combine them in a way that benefits everyone.
I like that. It's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together.
Exactly. And this vision extends beyond the traditional classroom, too. Khan sees AI as a key tool for facilitating lifelong learning, helping people adapt and evolve their skills in an era of rapid technological change. He talks about these AI-powered platforms that can provide personalized learning pathways, connect people with new opportunities, and even help us stay ahead of the curve in our careers.
It's like having an AI-powered learning companion that can guide us throughout our lives, helping us acquire new skills, explore new fields, and stay relevant in a rapidly changing workforce. It's kind of like having a personal career counselor and a tutor all rolled into one.
It's a really empowering vision, right? Like AI can help us become lifelong learners, constantly adapting and evolving to meet the demands of this dynamic world we live in. It's not just about getting an education and then you're done. It's about continuous learning and growth throughout your life.
I love that. It's like AI is democratizing access to education and making it a lifelong journey.
And that connects to another really important point that Kahn raises: the importance of preparing students for a future that will be increasingly shaped by AI. He argues that we need to equip students not just with technical skills, like coding or data analysis, but also with those essential human skills:
Hmm.
critical thinking, problem solving, adaptability, creativity, communication, all the things that AI can't replicate.
It's about helping students become not just users of AI, but also creators and innovators who can harness its power to solve problems and make a positive impact on the world. We don't want them to be passive consumers of technology. We want them to be active shapers of it.
Absolutely. And Kahn, he believes that AI itself can actually play a role in fostering those skills. He talks about using AI-powered learning environments to challenge students to think critically, solve complex problems, collaborate effectively. He sees AI as a tool that can push students beyond their comfort zones and help them develop the resilience and adaptability they'll need to thrive in a world that's constantly changing.
It's like using AI to train our brains to be more adaptable, more creative, more resilient.
Exactly. Kahn's vision is both incredibly inspiring and a bit daunting. He paints this picture of a future where AI transforms education, making it more personalized, more engaging, and more accessible to everyone. But he also acknowledges the risks and challenges that lie ahead, and he stresses the need for careful planning, ethical considerations, and a commitment to using AI for good.
It's a powerful message, and it's one that we all need to take to heart.
Okay, so we've spent the last two parts of this deep dive really digging into Salman Khan's brave new world and his whole vision for how AI is going to revolutionize education.
It's a pretty bold vision, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And with any groundbreaking idea, it's sparked a ton of discussion.
Yeah, I bet. Lots of people excited about the possibilities, and probably some folks a little bit wary, too.
Exactly. And the book's definitely gotten a lot of attention for its, I think, pretty optimistic outlook on AI's potential in education.
Yeah, Khan seems pretty convinced that AI can be this powerful force for good in learning.
Totally. And a lot of the reviewers, they've really praised his writing style, like how accessible it is. Even when he's talking about these really complex concepts, they say he's got a knack for making it clear and engaging, even for folks who aren't tech experts.
That makes sense. Considering he's an educator himself, he knows how to communicate ideas in a way that people can understand.
Exactly. And they also really appreciate, I think, his firsthand experience. He's not just some tech bro who's theorizing about education.
Right, he's been in the trenches, building Khan Academy, seeing firsthand the challenges and opportunities in education.
Totally. So he's coming at it from this really practical, grounded perspective.
Yeah.
But of course, not everyone's been completely on board with Khan's vision.
Yeah, there are always going to be some critics, right? Especially when you're talking about something as potentially disruptive as AI.
Right. And some of the reviewers, they've pointed out that maybe Khan doesn't quite delve deep enough into some of the potential risks and challenges of AI. Those things that keep people up at night.
Okay, so the dark side of AI.
Yeah, exactly. Some folks felt that he didn't really grapple with the issue of, say, job displacement. What happens if AI starts automating a lot of the tasks that teachers currently do?
That's a valid concern, for sure. And it's something that a lot of people are worried about, not just in education, but in all sorts of fields.
Totally. And then there's the whole question of, what if AI gets into the wrong hands? Or what if it's used to manipulate people or to reinforce existing inequalities?
Yeah, those are some pretty heavy ethical dilemmas.
Right. And some critics felt that Khan maybe skimmed over those issues a bit too quickly. They felt he was so focused on the positive potential of AI that he didn't give enough weight to the potential downsides.
Okay, so it's kind of like he's presenting a very optimistic view, but maybe not a fully balanced one.
That's kind of the gist of some of the criticisms. But, I also think it's important to remember that throughout the book, Kahn does repeatedly emphasize the need for, what he calls educated bravery.
Right, that phrase he keeps coming back to.
Yeah. And it's really about acknowledging that AI is this incredibly powerful tool, but it's a tool that needs to be used wisely and ethically.
It's not a magic solution. It's something we need to approach with careful consideration. He stresses that we can't just blindly embrace AI without thinking about those ethical implications and those potential challenges. We need to be both excited about the possibilities and also clear-eyed about the risks.
So it's like a call for both optimism and vigilance.
Exactly. And he repeatedly calls for, responsible development and implementation of AI, emphasizing the need for human oversight, for clear ethical guidelines, and for ongoing dialogue about how we want to shape this technology, for the benefit of humanity.
Right. So it's not just about letting the tech companies run wild and do whatever they want with AI. It's about society as a whole being involved in those conversations.
Exactly. And I think that's really important because ultimately AI is going to impact all of us. It's going to shape the future of our world, our societies, our lives. So we need to make sure that we're shaping it in a way that aligns with our values, and our hopes for a better future. And that kind of gets to, I think, one of the things that I found most compelling about Kahn's book, amidst all this talk about AI and technology. He really emphasizes the importance of human connection, the things that make us human.
Totally. He's not saying that AI is going to make human interaction obsolete or anything like that.
Right. He actually believes that AI can enhance human connection in a lot of ways.
Exactly. He talks about how AI can help us have more meaningful conversations, provide us with insights into our own strengths and weaknesses, even help us understand each other better. Like it can be this tool for building empathy and understanding.
And he also stresses the importance of maintaining a balance between, like, the virtual world of technology and the real world of human interaction. Like, we can't just live our lives online. We need those face-to-face connections, that physical touch, that sense of community.
Absolutely. And he talks about that a lot in the context of parenting. Like, he's not advocating for just handing your kid an iPad and letting AI raise them. He's saying that AI can be this amazing tool for parents, but it needs to be used in a way that supports and enhances those human relationships, not replaces them.
It's about finding that balance, right? Using technology to enrich our lives, not to diminish them.
Exactly. And I think that's such a crucial message, especially in a world where we're becoming increasingly reliant on technology. Like, it's a reminder that AI should ultimately be a tool that helps us live richer, more fulfilling lives,
Mhm.
not something that isolates us or replaces those human bonds that give life meaning.
It's about keeping our humanity at the center of it all.
Absolutely. And so, overall, I think Kahn's book offers a really thought-provoking and optimistic vision of the future of education. He lays out this compelling case for how AI can transform learning, make it more personalized, more engaging, more accessible to everyone. But he also acknowledges those risks and challenges that we've been talking about. And he stresses the need for careful planning, ethical considerations, and a real commitment to using AI for good.
And ultimately, he leaves it up to us. He's putting the ball on our court. He's saying, hey, this technology is incredibly powerful, but it's up to us to decide how we use it.
Exactly. And I think that's a really empowering message. Like, we're not just passive bystanders in this AI revolution. We have an agency, we have a voice, we have a responsibility to shape this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
So it's not just about predicting the future, it's about creating the future we want.
Totally. And whether you agree with all of Kahn's conclusions or not, I think this book is a must-read for anyone who's curious about how AI is already shaping the way we learn and what the future of education might hold. It's sure to spark some important conversations, about the role of technology in our lives, the skills we need to thrive in this rapidly changing world, and ultimately the kind of future we want to build. So, yeah, if you're interested in any of that stuff, definitely check it out.
I second that. It's a fascinating read, even if you're not a techie.
Absolutely. And that wraps up our deep dive into Salman Khan's Brave New World, how AI will revolutionize education, and why that's a good thing. We hope you found this exploration as insightful and mind-bending as we did. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those big questions coming.